Network security is critical to ensuring your resources are protected. And this doesn't go just for cloud services, but also for your on-premises environment. We are going to touch on the services that you can implement to further protect your Azure environment. But before we do that, let's first take a look at the Defense in-Depth model. It contains 7 layers, starting with physical security, identity and access, perimeter, network, compute, apps, and data. Each layer is isolated, and you must pass through the layer below in order to get to the layer above. The first tool we're going to explore is Azure DDoS protection. DDoS means distributed denial of service. A DDoS attack hammers at a service, making it unresponsive to users. You'll hear about these in the news every so often, and this is usually done by bots. Microsoft includes the basic SKU in your Azure subscription, so you already have this protection in place. But if you do need more protection, you can move up to the standard SKU, which will enhance the protection for your virtual network resources. On a side note, before you enable this, you may want to check the pricing. The last thing you want is sticker shock. The next service that we can implement is an Azure firewall. Now, this is a stateful firewall, which means it monitors the state of active connections to determine if a packet is allowed to pass the firewall. It is more secure than stateless firewalls. We can use a firewall to control access to Azure apps and resources, and this is done with an allow or deny. The Azure firewall can not only filter inbound traffic, but outbound as well. And this is important because we can determine if something on the inside is going out that shouldn't be. The Azure firewall can be configured using application rules that use FQDN or fully qualified domain names, or you can use network rules, which use source and target addresses, protocol, destination ports, and destination addresses. Our next tool in our defense line is network security groups. These allow or deny traffic to and from resources in the Azure Virtual Network subnet, again using rules. Let's explore network security group rules in a little bit more detail. Rules are processed in priority order. The lower numbers are processed first. In our example here, we can see priority 300, therefore it will be processed first because it is the lowest number. We're allowing traffic on port 3389 on protocol TCP. It can come from anywhere and go to anywhere within that subnet because the action is allow. And there's a couple other examples there as well. Here's a very simple example of a network security group in action. We can see we're allowing access on port 80 to either of our virtual machines on subnet 1. The next tool is the Application Security Group, or ASG. An application security group allows us to group virtual machines across virtual networks. This allows us to filter traffic to the virtual machines in the security group, not to the network itself. This allows us to segment the virtual machines based on application. In our example here, you can see that we have subnet 1, but I have grouped 2 virtual machines into application security groups. Looking at an example of this, we're taking our previous example, but we're adding in RDP on port 3389. And you'll notice here that our destination is ASG, and it is allow.